Good evening, my name is Kacper Paradowski and you are watching Poland Daily News. Today was an intense day for the two rivals in the presidential elections. Incumbent President Andrzej Duda, as well as his main opponent Rafał Trzaskowski, met with voters today in Western Pomerania, among others. The matter on every voter's mind is tomorrow's presidential debate, which will be conducted by TVN, as well as onet.pl and wirtualnapolska.pl. The incumbent president, as well as the candidate of the Civic Coalition, are to take part in this event. During his speech in Złotów, in his own words, Duda stated that he will not be influenced by Trzaskowski's private TV station.
Rafał Trzaskowski announced today that if he wins, he will extend the law which will increase the income tax threshold. Those who receive the minimum wage will not pay tax. For people whose annual income is between 30 and 65,000 zloty, the income tax threshold will be 8,000 zloty. Hence my idea concerning this income tax threshold. You know who inspired me? President Duda. Only he didn't make it happen. So let's do it ourselves. In response, Andrzej Duda says that there have never been more tax reductions in the history of the Polish fiscal system than in the last 5 years. According to the president, the new VAT matrix coming into force will contribute to a decrease in prices of many products. In practice, it means that not only will it be easier for businesses to account for VAT, but it will be simpler, more uniform than before, but it will also mean that a whole series of absurdities will disappear and, as a result, VAT will simply decrease on a whole series of articles. Today, Rafał Trzaskowski met virtually with Szymon Hołownia on the implementation of points from the Hołownia program into his program, who yesterday said that there is no candidate in this election, but will vote against the presidency of Andrzej Duda. Would you be prepared to repudiate the usually repudiated president's office to such an extent that, I would say purely symbolic, it would give people the feeling that we are dealing with something more than just an emanation of one political environment? I am smiling a little bit, Mr. Hołownia, because I hate the word activist. I've never been a political activist. I entered politics 10 years ago as an advisor in the European Parliament, and I will say one thing. I've always worked with a very broad background, and it wasn't just a political background. The second round of the election will take place on July 12th.
Now let's take a look at the latest survey conducted by Social Changes for the wpolityce.pl website before the second round of the Polish presidential elections.
If we take into account only the opinion of the decided voters, the incumbent president Andrzej Duda would win 53% of the votes in the second round of the Polish presidential elections. 47% of respondents are willing to vote for the Civic Coalition candidate Rafał Trzaskowski. This means that the incumbent president would win re-election with a great advantage over his rival.
Today, the Polish oil and gas company, PGNiG, has received an amount of $1.5 billion paid by Russian GAZPROM. This is a result of the decision of the Stockholm Court of Arbitration, which, in March this year, ordered the Russian gas tycoon to return the amounts overpaid by PGNiG for imported gas. PGNiG CEO Jerzy Kwieciński commented on the case today.
Dzisiaj mamy historyczny moment dla naszej firmy.
Today is a historic moment for our company, but also for Poland. As I am sure you know, the business relations between PGNiG and Gazprom, between Poland and Russia, have varied in the past, especially in the area of the gas market, in which we operate. Today we can confirm that a little over $1,606 million, which is over 6 billion Polish zloty, has been deposited into our accounts at PGNiG. We have completed the process of implementing the ruling of the arbitration court in Stockholm. Let me remind you that the verdict of the arbitration court was announced on March 30th earlier this year. This judgment ended our price dispute with Gazprom, which began in November 2014. The implementation of this verdict was very important, and today we can already say that this verdict has indeed been implemented in full.
The Defender 2020 exercises came to an end today at the Drawsko-Pomorskie training ground. The range of exercises was limited due to the outbreak of the pandemic. Today, Polish and American soldiers were visited by President Andrzej Duda and Head of the Ministry of Defense, Mariusz Błaszczak.
Bardzo jest mi miło odwiedzić polskich i amerykańskich żołnierzy tutaj na...
I am very pleased to visit the Polish and American soldiers here on the training ground in Drawsko during the finale of the joint exercises, which were a very important part of Defender Europe 2020.
Ćwiczenia Defender Europe 20. Właściwie Defender Europe 20+.
It was actually Defender Europe 20+, because during this very important element of strengthening the training of our soldiers, both the Polish soldiers and the soldiers from the countries in the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, especially American soldiers, which has been going on since February, we were affected.
Sojuszu Północnoatlantyckiego, przede wszystkim żołnierzy amerykańskich.
In the meantime, we became victims in a way. We were affected by the coronavirus pandemic, which changed the situation in Europe and changed the situation in the United States.
Miałem sposobność uczestniczenia.
I had the opportunity to participate in this exercise and observe certain fragments of it, which concerned the improvement of skills of Polish and American troops. I was impressed by the skill and professionalism, by the knowledge of military craftsmanship of Polish soldiers and soldiers of the United States.
Rzemiosła wojskowego.
The Polish Ministry of Health has informed about 392 new coronavirus infections and 14 new deaths in the country. According to the ministry, the high number of new infections was caused by two new outbreaks in furniture companies located in Greater Poland and the Mazovian voivodeships. The good news is that the epidemic in the Silesian voivodeship is in retreat.
Pracownicy kopalni Bobrek wracają do pracy.
All employees of the Bobrek mine are going back to work. All 500 coal miners who tested positive for the coronavirus have recovered from the infection and are able to go back to work. Just to remind you, we have conducted over 5,000 tests for the presence of the virus in this mine. All employees of the 11 mines owned by Jastrzębska Spółka Węglowa and Polska Grupa Górnicza who tested positive were not able to work until now. Everyone is going back to work from July 3rd and July 7th. The mines have ended their recovery periods as planned. This is positive information. Fortunately, the course of the disease was very mild, and all employees are now able to go back to work. In accordance with our declarations, these mines will be functioning without any problems.
Mogły już wrócić do pracy.
The elder brother of Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI, George Ratzinger, has passed away. Due to the deterioration of his brother's health, Benedict XVI came from Rome to Ratisbona in Bavaria 10 days ago, where the elder brother Ratzinger died.
Georg Ratzinger, brother of retired Pope Benedict XVI, died. The clergyman was seriously ill, and recently his health has deteriorated dramatically. In mid-June, he was visited by his brother, who appeared in his homeland for the first time since his abdication. Information about the death of the 96-year-old clergyman was given by the official portal of the Holy See. The retired Pope stayed in Germany from the 18th to the 22nd of June. The two brothers had a very close relationship. They were ordained to the priesthood on the same day, 29th June 1951, in the cathedral in Freising. From the time Joseph Ratzinger became pope, the brothers would be seen together in the Vatican during Easter. The tradition of meeting together during this period was also preserved after Benedict XVI resigned from office, but this year the plans to spend Easter together were thwarted by the coronavirus pandemic. The brothers also made many telephone calls, using a special telephone set up in Georg's house in the old town of Regensburg. George Ratzinger, despite being aware of his imminent death, did not lose his sense of humor, as he showed during a recent interview with Bavarian television shortly before his passing.
That's all for tonight. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for Poland Daily Business. Good night.